Hello and welcome back to the United Journal YouTube channel. On today's podcast, I'm Joe and I'm joined by Rowan and Matt as we discuss the United Brighton preview, the Erling Haaland situation, and whether United might need to look for a right back in the summer. Make sure to click that subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss any of our videos. And let's get straight into it. Hello and welcome back to the Talking Manchester United podcast. And as always, I'm joined by Rowan and Matt. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good. Happy to be back.
Good stuff. Let's get right into it. So we've got a big game on Sunday, late kickoff against Brighton. We need to really, kickstart and try and solidify that second position as Leicester are only a point behind us. And Rowan, I'll come to you first here. What do you think of the game on Sunday coming? Do you expect a big blowout win?
I have to say I'm not really looking forward to this game. While I'm always confident about United putting in a good game and giving us an entertaining performance, Brighton are not the most fun team to play against, right? Remember, they did run us quite ragged in the early part of the season when we scored that after the whistle famous penalty by Bruno. They do have one of the highest XGs, if I'm not mistaken, if not the highest XG or something in the Premier League. So I think it's going to be a really difficult game. Yeah, but I also think that United could potentially suffer this weekend from a bit of a international break hangover. Players haven't played together for 2 weeks, and as you know, the last game we against Leicester, but still excited to watch United back after the international break. But I have to say I am a bit concerned.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting also to see whether Martial or Cavani starts, because obviously Cavani, he was out for a short while just before the international break with injury. And Matt, I'll come to you here. Do you reckon if both are fit, do you think Solskjaer is going to go with Martial or Cavani to lead the line?
I think that he'll probably have to go with Cavani. I think Martial is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's still suffering from a noctus fibula, they said, in the international break. So I think Ollie is effectively, maybe not Ollie specifically, but I think that they've said that he's definitely going to miss the game against Brighton, and he might even miss the game against Granada on Thursday. So given that, I feel like we've got no choice but to go with Cavani. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see Greenwood start up front. I know he's trained today as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if, we see Greenwood up front and we see another Daniel James out on the wing type of thing.
Yeah, Rashford and Greenwood also pulled out of their respective England squads through injuries, so hopefully that's going to do them the world of good. Predicted lineups, though, I'll go to you, Rohit, here. How would you expect and how would you want to see us lining up on Sunday?
First things first is a big one, a big call. I think we should see that Dean Henderson in goal, right? And he's done really well. So I'm not sure which way Solskjaer will go, but that's what I would go with, right? Dean Henderson. Maybe he'll just give David De Gea a chance again now that he's back and fully fit. In the defensive lineup, I would say easily Luke Shaw, one of the first names on the team sheet nowadays. Harry Maguire, of course. Lindelof most likely will play. And I would say that Wan-Bissaka, right back, is a no-brainer. In midfield, I think it's going to be McTominay and Fred. Yeah. McTominay and Pogba, or Fred and Pogba. Bruno, number 10, as usual, and a front three probably of Dan James, Rashford, and Cavani, I would say, right? I think that maybe we could play Greenwood, but maybe Greenwood would, if he plays, he would probably play on the right-hand side and then James play instead of Rashford, because I'm still not sure about Rashford, whether he plays.
Yeah, and obviously we don't want to rush him back or anything. Don't want to flare up his injury again. Obviously, Dan James had a really good international break. He scored the winner for Wales against the Czech Republic in their qualifiers. So, Matt, also, that's a big talking point there about the midfield. Obviously, we've got Pogba back, so there's the potential for breaking up the McFred relationship. How would you line up? And do you think Pogba should start alongside Fred or McTominay?
I do think Pogba should start in midfield, especially not out on the wing like we've tended to do in the past. Starting lineup for me, I would go with Henderson in goal, Luke Shaw, obviously, that's a no-brainer. Maguire, it's another no-brainer. Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka. I would go Pogba in midfield, and I would go, I guess, McTominay. It could go either way. McTominay, Fred, to me, it's either or. I would go Dan James right, reluctantly, I must admit. Greenwood center forward, and if Rashford's fit, and I assume that he is because he's trained. And I assume that since he's trained, I assume Ollie's going to play him just because that's what history suggested. So Rashford makes up the starting left position.
Yeah, we've also got a bit of a crisis at the back. Lindelof missed training today because of a back injury he picked up, and Martial's also expected to be out after a knock he picked up against France. So we have, what we should have is a full healthy squad after that international break, but it's looking like we're even, thinner than usual. But more in the news that we've had recently, Erling Haaland is being shopped around Europe by his notorious agent, Mino Raiola. And Raul, come to you here. We were just talking about this before we started. What do you think of, the power his agent has, and where do you expect to see him end up this summer?
First of all, if you go by the official diktat, I don't think Raiola is his agent. I think his father is his agent, but Raiola is an advisor, right? Whatever that means. Now we know about the power of Mino Raiola, and we also know about his ability as a super agent, right? So he represents some really big players in the game, and he's the best agent in the world if you want him to be pushing your player towards your club, because he will do everything possible. But if he's pulling away like he is with Pogba, or rather bowing to Pogba's wishes and getting him out of the club as much as he can, then he's the worst agent in the world. Now, specifically with regard to Haaland, I think this is a generational striker that puts a similar level of fear into opponents as a young Ronaldo did, right? When he came to Europe from Brazil. So that it's going to be a very interesting summer. I think what Dortmund want to do is Dortmund have realized that they are not going to be able to keep him if they don't qualify for the Champions League, and therefore they've gone and slapped this really high price of 180 or 150 million on him. And right now, I think it's quite clear that it's the insistence of Erling Haaland himself that Raiola is going around Europe and putting him in the shop window. This is going to play out, I think, very, very interestingly in the next few months. We may end up with Haaland leaving, or we may end up with a loan plus option to buy, kind of almost a done deal situation, just because with the COVID situation, not many clubs in the world will be able to stump up that 150 or 180 million. So I think if Dortmund are smart, they would try and keep him for another year and sell Sancho instead to offset the losses that they have suffered this year.
Yeah, and obviously his development is important in trying to get as much money as they can for the future. So I think for a player like Haaland, it's very young guy. He's in the early stages of career still, despite the numbers he's putting up. I think it might be more beneficial for him to have another year at Dortmund and then see what's on the plate for him after. But Matt, what do you think here? Do you think obviously the Real Madrid and Barcelona look like they're to be the front runners at the minute? Obviously, we don't know if Barcelona will have the funds after their financial troubles they've had recently. But where do you see him going?
I think it's kind of hard to say. I was gonna say there's a lot of noise about him going to City, which kind of makes me very, very nervous. But I thought I saw a quote from Pep saying that for whatever reason they can't afford him, and I don't know if that's an April Fool's thing. I don't know if that's actually attributed to Haaland, but if he doesn't go to City, I could see him going to. See, it's weird because on the one hand, like we've talked about before, I don't know what's the financial situation at Barcelona, so I don't know if they could afford him. Same with Madrid. I know Madrid haven't spent any money on any players recently, but I've always felt like they've been putting all their eggs in the Mbappe basket. I don't know what's the story with Chelsea, you know what I mean? So we could be so concerned about him going to City, that it could end up being Chelsea who end up being the English club that actually gets him, because we know that they tend to have an open checkbook too. So I think for me, I'd be worried about him going to, if he doesn't end up at City, I'd be worried about him ending up at Chelsea. But either way, in saying this, it does seem like we're kind of dark horses to get him, which, you know, is not going to be music to any United fans' ears.
Yeah,
I think as long as we have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer around, right, United have a better chance than people give us credit for, right? Because remember, Ole has a really strong relationship with him. I mean, he's blooded and made him the striker that he is pretty much in his formative years. You have a risk over there, right? That if you end up getting Haaland, then Haaland doesn't come because it's Manchester United. It comes because of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? And what if Ole is no more with United in 2 years or 3 years? You never know what's going to happen, right? Even though we all want him to succeed and he's doing a really great job. So that is a risk that I see, as well as a really positive thing that could pull him towards United.
Question about that, though. Do we not worry that the relationship that he has with Ollie might just be buddies, but he may not want to put his career necessarily in the hands of Ollie anymore? And what I mean by that is, sure, Ollie introduced him to senior football at Molde, but Ollie went after him when he was at Salzburg, was convinced that he was going to get him, from my understanding, from what we've all kind of been reading in the press. And he didn't get him, and he went to Dortmund. Now he's at Dortmund. We're going in again, trying to lean on the whole relationship that Ollie has with him. And it's seeming like, again, we're not in a position to be classed as favorites to sign him. So maybe we as fans are being kind of led to believe that they've got this great relationship whereby Ollie can lure him in. And in reality, that's kind of really not the case. They may have a good relationship. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm saying, that they don't have a good relationship. But what I'm saying is that the relationship is one where, Haaland has a lot of respect for Ollie. He's got nothing but love for Ollie. But as it pertains to his football career, which, as everybody knows, it's a short span at the top, he may kind of look at it and think, you were great for me then, but I don't know if you're great for me now, if you guys understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I think we can rule ourselves out of the question this summer. And with the way things are going, I think it looks like he is going to be moved this summer. There's a lot of people interested. Obviously, he's being shopped around already. But that relationship with Solskjaer is definitely one of the things that, it's going to attract him to United. And with Solskjaer's new contract, especially, that's been brought up, that could be really, a big factor in him moving here. Obviously, it's not going to be nice to have another sort of Mino Raiola client, but I reckon he's more than good enough to look past the Raiola saga. I know we've had it with Pogba, but I believe Haaland is, obviously, you said, Rohit, he's generational. He's obviously already one of the best strikers in the world at such a young age. It would be stupid, in my opinion, that if we have the opportunity to go and get him, that we pass up on him. I think that would be, ludicrous. We've got the chance. We've got the relationship with Solskjaer. I think we got to go out and use that to our advantage. But then again, this summer probably not going to happen. We don't have the money, and Manchester United aren't in the best sort of position at the minute. We're not, obviously not at the position the club was about a decade ago. So for his own development wise, he's obviously going to want to go to Real Madrid or Barcelona, somewhere he is guaranteed to win trophies. Guaranteed to have his name on the world stage. But something that we were also discussing just before here, the United's need for potentially a right back. And Rohit, you said you're a big fan of Brandon Williams, potentially moving him to right back instead of going out and buying someone like Max Aarons. Do you think he deserves a bit of a chance there?
Definitely. I mean, I like Max Aarons. Yeah, and if we were sitting on no problems in any area of the squad today, right? Then I would be happy to sign a player like that. But with the numbers that are being mooted at 40 and 50 million, I think the money is best spent somewhere else. We have more pressing needs for a proper striker, a proper defensive midfielder, a proper winger, a pacey centre back, right? As things go. So I don't think that it makes sense to sign another right back. Look, remember that we do have Brandon Williams who can deputize there. Williams, unlike Wan-Bissaka, is a lot more naturally attacking, right? He's He's like that box to box right back, right? He's up and down the wing the whole time, and he is not as strong as Wan-Bissaka defensively, and that's why you have that kind of a yin and yang combination there. And also don't forget that should Brandon Williams be loaned out or not really work out, we've still got Ethan Laird out on loan at MK Dons, and I dare say that he's even more talented than either of the two of them, right? So when he comes through, I think that we will have another outstanding opportunity at right back. Yeah.
Of course. He's also, last season he almost took Luke Shaw's starting place, and he really performed well in the Europa. We were really impressed with him. And Matt, I'll come to you here. Something I was thinking about, potentially moving Axel Tuanzebe to right back and giving him a chance there. Obviously, the appearances he's had this season, he hasn't particularly shown us, much, but he's got to get something in him to get that confidence back and start to perform at the ability we know he can. Is that something you'd consider, putting him at right back?
Yeah, I think, time and place, I think there's definitely a situation that will call for Axel to be played at right back and he can be successful. But I agree with Rohit wholeheartedly. I think Brandon Williams should be getting more minutes at right back. And I'm also curious to see how Ethan Laird would work out as a first-team right back, deputizing for Wan-Bissaka. I think we saw him get a couple of minutes in the Europa League before, and then we also saw him play against Astana when we took nothing but children over there, and he looked pretty good to me then. And I've read a lot of things, heard a lot of people talk about him, and a lot of people, as Rohit mentioned, seem to rate him higher than Brandon Williams. So to the point, I think that we should definitely ditch spending any money on a backup right back, just because we could find ourselves in a position kind of like with Telles, where even though Telles was only 15 million and it was kind of a steal, but he's really not displaced Luke Shaw. And so why are we going to go and spend 30, 40, 50 million for Max Aarons or Kieran Trippier, and they're just going to kind of sit on the bench when we have other glaring holes in the squad that need to be addressed? So I definitely think our youth players are good enough to serve in a backup capacity.
Speaking of youth players as well, we had James Garner today, who was on the score sheet for Forest against Cardiff, and he got the winner. But that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. You can find mine, Rohit, and Matt's Twitter links all in the description, and we'll see you for another episode after the Brighton game.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Check these videos out too, and make sure to drop a like and a comment. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more Man United exclusive videos. Tap on the bell icon so that you don't miss any videos. See you soon.